Yeah, let's get it.
One, 2, 3, go.
Perfect.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, start.
You gotta do 3 because we have 3 cameras, bro. We
know,
have 3
right?
cameras, so.
Go.
Yeah, you can see it, right? Let the professor get your mind blown. Laugh for Jimmy, kill it, but on the side though. Mama Ray does his magic on the down low. BBC, you never seen it. In the views, you won't believe it. You can see it on the Cali Esk8 Show.
Okay, hey, what's up, guys? I am the professor. I'm here with Jimmy, and today we have this interview with this guy over here. Some shock board guy. But your name is David. What's your name, bro? Like, who are you?
It is David.
It is David.
It's David.
Okay,
one and
but
only.
like David, what?
David Shoc Board Systems.
David Shoc Board System. I hear he was pastor.
It is.
That's your last name?
My last name.
So you preach.
It's kind of stupid.
El Pastor
No,
de Shoc
So you
Boards.
preach. I preach too. Actually, the other day they confused me. Instead of the professor, they were like, "Oh, you're the preacher."
The preacher.
I'm like, "What?" Like, I was like, "Okay, amen." I'm like, "Let me get that demons out of you," you know. But yeah, no, like I am envy. I got envy. I would wish I had a
No.
last name like that, because then I could go like, "Oh, did you did that?" And I'll be like, "No, I'm Christian. You know, I don't do those things. My last name is Pastor. You know."
You don't want my last name. So here's a little side note. Since you got on the last names,
Okay.
I'm gonna fucking go there.
Go for it.
This is all the swear words will be blinked out later.
Or not.
My wife's got a cool last name. She kept her last name because whatever. You know, when we got married, we're like, okay, that's just silly.
Right?
We're not gonna do the whole. You're taking my last name, but she's got a cool last name. Her last name's Walker. So
Walker.
maybe
Yeah.
eventually I'm gonna change my last name to Walker.
You gonna take her last name?
Because it's fucking cool.
David Walker.
Yeah, dude, Walker.
The Texas
Cool,
Ranger.
right? Exactly. Sky.
The walk. I walk the walk. That's what I do, you know? I walk the
Not
walk.
seen the SHOC Board System? Alright, we should get back on track.
Yeah, let's get back on track. Okay, so SHOC Board System, right? That's your company.
SHOC Board Systems, brand new company. Haven't sold anything yet, but it's gonna happen
Dang.
soon. Happen soon. So everyone that's watching us right now, it might be a mystery to you. My acquaintance is more than just the immediate. I've known these guys for at least 2 or 3 months, right? I mean, since Esk8 but we've been riding a lot. So,
Right.
I think
been hanging
every
with
week
guys.
hanging out.
Jimmy's super cool. Carlos is super cool. They've been really embracing me being here in San Diego. We've been riding trails like crazy with my systems, and we'll get into the whole meat of that details, and we'll talk all that fun shop stuff and trail stuff. But yeah, so let's start rolling. Any questions for me, guys?
Yeah. I actually have, first of all,
Thanks. What inspired me, Carlos? I'll take that.
damn, you took my line, bro.
Pretty easy.
Okay.
That was a good transition.
You're gonna like, bro.
So 2 things.
There's a fucking fly around. I'm about to kill this. But while I kill this fly, when did this start? This whole shock boards idea. Let me get my fucking.
Just about 2020.
Wait.
Wait, where are you going, Carlos?
I'm gonna kill this
Jimmy,
fly.
Jimmy, I'm gonna roll
Don't
with
worry.
this, right?
Inspiration.
So what inspired me? Okay, so carnival folk and fighter jets.
Interesting.
Okay,
Interesting.
so carnival folk, right?
Fighter jets. I
They're
just don't see
fun.
it.
They're a little spooky, but they're adaptable. They're always going everywhere, right? And they're just straight up kind of fun. Fighter jets because they're fucking cool. That's
I agree.
It. That's it. Just the 2.
Okay, so now what's the real story?
Okay.
I was like, how did you because I got up and I went to get this raid, to kill this fly, and then I got in and you were talking about fighting jets, and I was like, what did I miss? Like, what's
Nothing. So I was gonna move. My wife and I are moving to San Diego, as you guys know.
Mhm.
We haven't made it here permanently yet, but in 2020 we're gonna pull the trigger. I don't want to get into the whole fucking story about how many houses we've ended up selling, and then we had to move back to Colorado. But we were selling our house. We were moving here to La Jolla. We got a condo, and I was like, hey, what a great idea to have an electric skateboard there, right? I hadn't seen a whole lot of them, but I knew they existed, and I'm like, that would be perfect to have an electric skateboard.
Right.
And I knew there was an all-terrain configuration. Man, it'd be awesome. I could have it there. The weather's great. So I ended up looking through the interwebs, and I found Backfire as a company, and I thought the in-hub motor looked pretty cool on their Ranger X3, so that's what I ended up buying. And I took it on a trail, and I was blown away because I was riding on the dirt, and it was just amazing. But then I realized, of course, when I got that board, that if I had looked a little further, maybe I'd find one that was suspension on it.
Right.
Yep.
Like really real suspensions, truly sprung suspension that could adapt to terrain surfaces, right? So just that solid hanger on a truck.
Right.
So I was like, I should have looked for that. I went back, did a search, nothing came up except for the Baja board.
Mhm.
That beast of a board. I think the thing's probably 80 pounds.
Yeah.
I don't know what it weighs, but I think it's probably
Yeah, it's a lot heavy.
You don't even want to ask.
It's damn close to that. That's the only thing that was really on the market as far as a suspended off-road type board back in 2020-ish. The Endeavor by Propel was not out yet.
Right.
That was kind of getting cooked up in a lab somewhere in the back room.
Mhm.
So I couldn't find it. It's what I wanted. I thought, my God, I couldn't believe that it didn't actually exist in some iteration that was scaled down and more simplified rather than just the coilover stuff that Baja had adapted from all our traditional vehicles out there, cars, trucks. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's an easy transition, but my inspiration was pretty instantaneous
Mm-hmm.
to come up with a configuration with a torsion spring. Because the torsion spring at that scale just makes a lot of sense. It can be very simple. You could work with these big component bodies that you can see here, the aluminum truck wings in the center. All this kind of stuff doesn't make sense when you scale it up. And when you scale it down, it becomes more easily attainable as far as manufacturing goes and all the other mechanical configurations that have to go into the system with a torsion spring, because you just have a pivot in the front and then you've got these radial arms and then a torsion spring.
What's interesting about this is that, like, it was obvious to you.
It was pretty
Like,
obvious now.
you were like, okay, if they have an all-terrain, they must have a suspension system, at least one board with
Right.
suspension
I mean,
system.
dude, I'm not the only one that I'm
But
sure
that's what I'm
thinking
saying,
about
like-
it. But I clearly was the only one thinking about creating a new type of suspension
Right.
created specifically for the longboard e-board platform that hadn't been realized.
Right.
And the torsion spring thing, you know, I mean, if there is someone out there that came up with the idea, they haven't patented it.
Right.
And that, I guess I can roll that into the thing real quick too. So these are both provisionally patented, meaning they're patent pending. They're going to be eventually, most likely, officially patented in the US and EU and Australia, anyway, as a side note. So that whole journey too has been crazy, and there is a process of discovery that my IP attorneys did with me too. So I know everything that's been filed as far as a patent and suspensions for any kind of skateboard, which in the patent world is called a roller board.
Mhm.
It doesn't exist. There were some things that were submitted, but they never followed through with the final conversion to a patent.
Mhm.
But they seemed pretty contrived. They definitely weren't this. This is definitely unique. No one was using torsion springs
Yeah.
at all in suspension systems. Some of them were just
I think it took us by surprise. You know,
Yeah,
Esk8 everybody was like, if we were walking by your booth, it was like an extra step, and it's like, whoa. And then you come back and it's like, what is that? You know, it was kind of like, what? So it took us by surprise, because it's like, at first I was trying to understand it, you know, because I'm like, what is that? So whenever I stood on it, I was like, whoa, because it feels floaty,
It's
you know?
floating. Yeah,
It's completely different.
But at the same time, like, yes, I took a lap on it, but the reality is that until you take it to the actual trail, you don't actually understand what it does.
Nope.
Yeah, that's really where the performance value is full.
Right.
It's really fully engaged, right? When you're actually on a trail, that's where this thing really makes a lot of sense.
Right.
Of course, the urban environment, if you want to do bunny hops, jump off curbs, I mean, there's going to be
There's videos out there already.
Yeah.
that are out there, right? Jimmy,
You check like the Jimmy SHOC Board Systems, all the Instagrams.
Yeah.
We have them out there right now.
Yeah.
We're gonna come up with a release video coinciding at some point.
Speaking of the
near
release,
future.
when's the release?
So the release is targeted for first week of October.
First week
Yeah,
of
we
October,
wanted
okay.
to do it probably within the next 4 days or so, but there's some things I need to do. I have to get back to
Not too far away. Not too
Yeah.
far
Not too
away.
far away. Yeah.
No.
So first week of October is the target now. It's been slowly moving back, but it's not too bad. We did speculate before many months ago at Esk8 that we were going to do late summer release. But,
Right.
man, you don't know what you don't know. So the whole
Yeah.
journey with
No, and we
Yeah,
prefer,
it's-
like, as customers, like, we prefer to have good product,
Yep.
a good product, a good, you know, the whole package, you know, to understand it
Yeah.
instead of, you know, you handing us something that, you know, doesn't really work. And I think you have
Yeah.
taken care of that.
I think
Oh,
you've
I
just
mean-
over-engineered, honestly,
Right.
the whole design of it. Any questions
It's
that we had,
so
it was already
clean.
answered and integrated into the system before we could even thought of it.
Yeah.
I mean, to think how many hours that you yourself put into
Dude.
to doing this. I know that we've had conversations
Mhm.
and
Like,
learning,
and
you know,
that's
new systems, and you don't even come from this background in general, right? You
no
come
engineering,
from,
no
yeah, you come from
Construction.
Construction, yes.
construction.
So learning
So,
a whole new design,
There's an engineering
everything.
component to construction if you have a really broad and expansive skill set, which I do as a remodel contractor and everything else. My God, I've been trading hats and I rarely subbed out, so I learned a lot. But yeah, this endeavor is a lot more complex than anything I ever did or rendered with construction. Part of that is also, I mean, I know construction so well, and this for me was also a very artisan endeavor, right? I mean, there's the obvious requirement for mechanical functionality. It has to work. It has to perform. I think we've really proven it. Right? I
Mhm,
mean, of course,
definitely,
there's
yeah.
always gonna be
Right, already.
refinement, so I have to say that it's not going to stop here. But I think I've hit a really good first iteration. I think it excels in a lot of different ways, and we'll get into the trick stick too. But Carlos, you've been riding with me. Jimmy, you've been riding with me. You've been riding with other people like Alex, my friend Doug. I've been riding with him as much as I can, but not as much as I would have liked to.
And
And
boards.
then we've had Eric there. I just
James
went
over
up
at
to
Boards.
Las Vegas. I
Mhm.
rode with James. James has been testing it. He's almost got 1,000 miles. By the
Dang.
way, you guys, I don't know if you know. He just texted me today, I think. So he's almost at 1,000 miles.
But even
on the
him,
system.
you went up there, right?
Went up
You were
there.
telling me. And
rode
they-
the trail with
Yeah, he haven't.
He hasn't actually done.
Yeah, tell us about
Yeah,
That was
that's
the
interesting.
first time he went on the trail. So you guys know too. We've been going on trails, right? So I mean, the
From like
off-road.
the beginning though, that was like
Right.
the first thing we learned on was like, hey, we're gonna go up this crazy mountain. Let's go
I'm
up the system.
Bro, I couldn't believe it, bro. Like, you guys are gonna see, I'm gonna release a video which were like my main reactions when I actually, like, the first time I did, like, I tried the system. It was up a hill. I couldn't believe I was going through this gravel, like big rocks. I'm telling you, up a hill.
Yeah.
Like, and the system was taking it as nothing. Like, it was a straight road. Like, it's
I mean,
insane.
it's just rocky, crazy, rutted terrain, stuff that really is going to be a challenge for just a solid axle or a hanger on a board where as you're riding the board in that scenario, it's compelled into a turn, right? And then you might have also this articulation going with one rear hanger versus the front. and they're in opposition of one another. So you get this weird binding component and you get this torsional flex with the board. And it can do that, but you get shut down on a trail when that happens because the board starts chattering, it starts to lose its turning aspect, and you lose control. Your performance completely suffers, or you might even just get totally stopped because of the tire size. Even when we're running 200 millimeter 175 wheels, on a trail and off-road, that's just not a big tire. It doesn't roll easily over things that are half or even as tall of the height of the tire. And when you don't have a suspension system and there's no compliance to that kind of terrain, you just basically are just hitting something straight away because it's competing with the other side, and it's not able to lift and conform to that rocky, crazy, rutted terrain. So when you have a sprung system, it's definitely basic. I mean, it's obviously proven, right? Every vehicle out there, car, truck, has some kind of sprung suspension, except for earth movers, but whatever. They're not going at speed.
But
so it's a no-brainer, right? I mean, we all know that
individually, each wheel individually adapts to the ground, to the terrain. And that's what, at least me, gets me, because even for traction, whenever you start, if you you can't lose traction per se, because it keeps adapting to it. So if one of the motors is not rotating, the other one definitely is engaged all the time. So they complement each side.
It's about maintaining contact with the ground. Right, and maintaining a certain amount of force. When one wheel gets really light or even loses contact with the ground, that motor is just going to spin. So the motors typically, 4x4. So as a caveat too, we haven't tried a 4x4 all-terrain board because I don't have that configuration. So we're just talking about
not yet.
So we're just talking about basically two motors, belt driven, and the other thing we haven't done gear motors. But back to that point. So if you have your typical board platform with the two motors in the back, it's kind of as if you're riding a differential, right? The motors act independently. When one wheel comes off the ground, you have this power surge to the wheel that has the least amount of traction. And that's how differentials in any car suffer, and that's why we have lockers on off-road vehicles, right? So that you don't have that aspect where the power is suddenly going to the wheel that is the most inhibited. So in this scenario with the suspension system, when you have more consistent contact with both wheels because you can adapt to the terrain with a sprung system, that happens much less often. So you get the benefit of having each wheel tracking on the ground, where you wouldn't normally have that if you didn't have a sprung suspension system that can adapt to the terrain.
And what I noticed is it almost forces you to want to go faster on the terrain rather than going slower.
Yeah, it's weird.
And then as you're going through, you're able to actually take that terrain better because the suspension is more helping you out. Whereas you're not normally used to on a regular skateboard, you'd have that resistance. Whereas no, you want the suspension to actually help you out in this case of going faster. It's going to keep you more in control. That's where I was suffering. At first, I was wanting to go slower. You guys are like, no, go faster, just go through it. And then once I started to really lay into it, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, it really is taking me, and I am holding it.
That's the kind of thing, because it's intimidating at first, because you the way that you see the systems is as part of the skateboard. And regular skateboards don't do this, okay? So your logic is I can't do that. I can't go through that creek, or that uneven terrain, because I'm gonna fall.
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna lose control of the board.
And you kind of start warming up as you go through it.
Right.
The thing is that once you warm up and that you're actually comfortable with it, whenever you start writing it better is when you completely disassociate from that thought. And then you're actually looking at this terrain, different terrain features, and you say, I'm gonna hit that.
Yep.
You go for it.
You don't avoid it anymore.
I've been hitting boulders, bro, out of the way.
Yeah. That's the thing. I mean, it's like Jimmy said, when you have some critical mass, when you have some movement, when you have the inertia, the system is proven. It starts really performing. So once you get upwards of 10 miles an hour, which again, you'd be hesitant to on a normal board because then you're going to lose control, it's going to chatter, it's going to stop. You don't have that behavior with the system. It enables you to roll over those things and adapt to that terrain, and suddenly it's this aha moment when you start approaching about, anywhere from 8 to 10 or even faster, 15. It's your mind blown a little bit because you're like, I don't know how I just rolled over that stuff without losing control on my board or just stopping. But you did, and it's just about independent travel. Suspension.
So
which it's got 40 millimeters of travel, so that's pretty good. It's almost 1.5 inches of travel, which is pretty crazy when you think about it.
And speaking of traction, even when you're kind of going at speed, you're losing traction. Having the trick stick, it actually holds you into place and actually is really the key to the system.
Right.
I believe without having, for me, that front foot locked into place, I probably wouldn't be able to take some of these speeds or these turns or these rocks because sometimes I'll vibrate off, or you just won't be able to hold control because your feet can't stay in that place that you would need. So the trick stick bindings really, for me, are key to the system. Especially that front foot. The back one, I am not comfortable yet.
Oh my God! You gotta commit. I cannot ride it without both bind. Because it's like, and not even like, because your first thought is like, okay, I don't want to put both bindings because if I do, then I won't be able to jump out the board.
Yep.
Bro, I'm jumping out the board still with both bindings, like whenever I have to. So you get used to it and you're like, you jump over it, So like, I have had no issues, but you gotta commit, And once you commit, you cannot see it other way. Like the first time I rode it with the one in front and not on the back. Like after I committed, after like the third ride, I think it was, I can't do it without it.
Yeah,
I can't.
It's a great benefit. Like you said, Jimmy, it's so complimentary. It just opens up the level of riding. Of course, you've got the suspension, and now you're conforming to terrain. You're able to go over things you hadn't before. But when you have a control point for your foot, it keeps it stable and also allows you to lift up on the board and complement the suspension by preloading yourself with your rider weight and then lifting and then bunny hopping or wheeling or doing all kinds of crazy jumps over terrain. Holy crap. Now you're talking about real performance aspects for off-road. It's just a perfect marriage for trail riding. And incidentally too, it's super fun when you're doing urban assault. Carlos and I were doing all these crazy bunny hops over speed bumps.
Yeah, it was.
It's just fun, right?
How fast were we going?
20 something.
20 something.
20 something.
No, I wasn't putting it.
I'm getting up to about 10 to 15 right now, pretty comfortably being able to bunny hop over stuff.
Well, we started learning we started committing to both the trick stick in the front and the back as a control point over your stuff for binding, and that's where you can bunny hop. So when I started riding like that almost all the time now, oh my God, now bunny hopping, lifting the board, curb hopping, it's just insanely fun when you're riding on the street. The trail's obvious, it's a no-brainer.
Right.
But yeah, it works in both places.
I think it is not only a binding.
It's not only binding. So that's probably going to be weird turning around. There we go. Yeah.
It'll work. So you can turn the binding around. This is more the
that would be the inside position. So that's where you hold it over your
pick
foot.
up your board basically this way.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
And then move it into more of a control point. And
that would be This would be your control. This would be your in tow.
Right.
And then this would be over the binding. So, it doesn't really matter.
Well, I'm looking at backwards.
But yeah.
In my defense, I'm looking at it. I like how you went quick with that one, too.
Jimmy was looking to step backwards. So, do you want to? I'll just go real quick since we have this.
Oh, absolutely! It's kind of really nice that we have.
Show us how it's done.
Let's just imagine.
Don't let Jimmy do it.
I'm the owner, the designer, all the hours.
Carlos is in the front of the board, so the board would be facing directionally this way.
I am the front.
Here's the
Platform.
Okay.
suspension.
On the front.
So it's exampled here in what I like to call the passive position. So it's all the way facing forward. It's just in a direct linear lineup with your board. It's facing outboard. So again, this would be the front or it'd be the rear where the motors are.
Right.
But we're going to explain the utility aspect of the handle. So this is going to be the front of the board.
Right.
So if you're just riding the board, you're being casual and maybe you just got it and you're freaked out and maybe you don't want to use it all the time, just get that thing out of the way, right? And
Right.
so when you put it in the front position, and again, if it's on the rear, it's just facing out. In this passive mode, it's just out of the way completely, don't worry about it. Of course, it's hanging over the front of the board, so you can just use it as an in-tow thing, as a pedestrian, when you're getting in and out of your house, et cetera, et cetera. But it splays out at a 45-degree angle to the right side of the board or the left side of the board. And you can walk it more comfortably that way.
Right, because it's out of the way.
Yeah, that toe point that's conveniently over to the side a little bit. So when you have your board here hanging next to you, it's not
Banging
just
against your
always
leg.
Yeah, the wheel is not
Yeah.
there.
to your leg. Totally, exactly. You can ride it this position, and I did a lot of prototyping with the first one to gain these different lockable positions, which are detent positions. With the consideration of how the handle might incidentally interact with the wheel on a turn if you left it in this position.
Right.
So the 45 seems pretty good with most wheels that people are running, 175 or even 200s. You really would have to have an aggressive turn for this to bite the wheel on a turn. So
Right.
you can, I haven't been able to do it yet. So you're pretty safe riding it that way if you just wanted to leave it that way.
Mhm.
I originally had prototyped something in a 90-degree position, but that definitely hit the wheel. So that's why it doesn't
Right.
detent lock in that. But there are some advantages to having this position. Maybe we'll touch on that later.
Yes.
But it doesn't lock into that position. So that's the fun thing about carrying the board, going in a store, whatever. It's convenient. You don't have to grab the dirty hanger underneath your skateboard. But you spin it around, this is where the business part is right here, man. This is like over the board, over the instep, and this is where it acts like that hat biting, which is pretty cool. Do we need to stop?
I don't know. No, I was like,
No, it's
If you guys are like,
Okay.
hey, this is just
making sure.
too many details, we'll fuck. We don't have to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. No.
Okay.
That's what. Hey,
Pretty
for
cool.
everybody, okay. So this is like, I don't know if anybody knows the idea of this podcast, but it's pretty much to let people know, like, we are not professionals, okay?
Not professionals at all.
Not professionals, okay? But I want to let
You
everybody,
guys aren't professionals.
right? With this face? No, I'm kidding. So the idea is to let you guys know that
Well, you're some kind
like, you
of
don't
professional.
have to be a professional, you know, to do these things, you know. You can all do it. It's just having the vision, okay? So whenever like you see my podcast or podcast, like you're gonna see like we are e-skaters, just like you
Yeah,
are,
we're
okay?
hanging out.
We just, you know,
Interested in the community.
right,
honestly.
you know, we just want to show it up, and I want to show off David.
Yeah, I mean, we
Every
spend
time
so
he
much
comes to
time
my
together.
house-
Can't stop talking about Shoc.
Every time he comes to my house, he breaks something. Like I'm telling you, man, I'm starting to look like
I know.
like Frankenstein. Like my sensor over there, like from the garage, bro. Like it's like it's taped and like it has glue, gorilla glue, bro. Like
There used to be a shoe rack. It's no longer here.
It's
no, it's away from him. Like I'm gonna put some seatbelts on that couch so he doesn't move.
Are these expensive?
don't be touching them.
Okay, Carlos, it's the price.
Okay.
Stop. It's the price of admission. I'm sorry. Okay.
We'll accept
Sorry.
it today. We'll accept it today. Just make it out so we can get it over with.
Oh my God.
There's going to be cool stuff from SHOC Board Systems in your future. So,
Right.
you know, there's compensation.
I was gonna say, I like
You
that.
heard it
I
here
like
first,
that.
right?
Hey, we record. This is recorded, okay? So like,
4 different cameras.
I'm gonna sue you if you.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm kidding.
It's getting rough.
Right.
Help me out, man.
I can't.
Carlos,
Carlos
it's
is
on
my
camera.
own.
He's freaking.
Actually, I got a surprise for you.
You do.
Yes, I do. So I got some questions from our people in Instagram.
Oh
you
yeah.
know?
Oh,
And-
dude.
Yes, I do.
Real people.
Yeah, real people.
real questions.
Real questions.
Real Instagram.
That's what I do. Come on.
Man, dude.
Come on,
No, I know he just wants me to stop talking about this.
Oh my
And
god.
that's fine, because I'm kind of,
This podcast can go on for 5 hours.
my
if
God,
you hear
you got
David.
us.
Okay.
You guys are the ones that invited me over, so see you.
We know what we're getting into.
It's your fault. It's your fault. Okay. I mean, go ahead and
This
just
is
a
all going to be
second.
edited out later.
No, it's not.
This is going to be like a 10-minute
No, it's
video.
not.
I know I'm not here, but
That's
I'm not.
Brandon's here.
there's representation here as
Yeah.
far as San Diego. goes.
Yeah.
Right?
I love it coming from my hometown.
Oh yeah. I had to.
Yeah.
Are you born and raised there?
I
Right?
am.
Oh, dude, sweet. Right on.
I wish we got this camera. We'll turn it around. We got my man over here, Ray. He's not here. He's a ghost.
We need to take
He's a
pictures at the
ghost.
end, though. We
He's
need
not
to
here.
For sure.
Yeah, he's not here. He's a ghost.
No, he's here. He's keeping it real back there behind the scenes. He's the professional. Like I've never.
He actually is. He actually is the only professional.
He really is.
So-
He really is the only guy.
Full disclaimer with Carlos' definition of no one here being a professional. Raymond, you're a professional.
Oh, you
I know,
definitely
I've
are.
seen it. So anyway,
We appreciate you being here.
and you're a professional too.
I appreciate it.
So I got some questions here.
It depends on what you're talking about profession, but I'll go with it.
Well,
Carlos, we know you're a professional.
you don't want to say what type of profession.
I'm not trying to say what
You pulled that to say, hey.
But dude, you're the self-proclaimed
Yeah.
professor.
And I'm not a stripper, okay?
Oh,
It's just saying.
No, he's a model.
No, dude, that's the after
A model
hours.
stripper.
Yeah.
That's the after hours part.
Okay,
That's
okay.
the after dark.
You ready? You ready for this
First
question?
question from the community.
Okay, I got here.
Time, man. Come on.
Man, you guys gotta work on your Instagram tag. Link. Yeah.
What?
Nah, this guy, your lanky mix.
I think we got
That's
the
his-
first person saying the names.
Well, I want to read them because that's funny. You know, I don't know. Hey, whoever you are, you gotta work on that name. Okay. So it's a first question is: will you be releasing your trucks with a 4-wheel drive option? So far, I only see 2-wheel.
It is on 2 wheels, so possible in the future. So we have 2 iterations right now. One is the belt drive, just 2-wheel drive, belt drive system. For different size wheel pulleys, belts will be included, and we have the hub drive version for the Backfire Ranger X3. I don't know if other boards out there are configured with that setup. If they are, and they're like the Ranger, it'll work for that. So that's what we have now.
Right.
There are plans to address that in 2024.
Right. Okay, so that's for the 4-wheel.
There are plans
Right.
to address it in 2024.
Okay, got
I
it.
can't
Got
make
it.
any promises.
No worries. One thing at a time.
Okay, we got.
Okay.
Let's check.
A couple things. I don't know.
Yeah, right?
This
Just
guy
looking
is
this
named
up.
the Booth. The Booth.
Dabu.
Shame on you. So
Dude, I think Jimmy,
So,
we need to read these.
make
I don't
one.
trust what you're saying.
Make
about
one.
this.
He's having a comment here, I guess. Make one that fits the AC deck
The ace deck.
Ace deck.
Nomad with the gear drive.
Gear drive, that is something I will be addressing long before, well, okay, I gotta say, at least before, by some measure, the 4-wheel drive thing. The gear drive thing is on, it's on the deck, so to speak, right? It's in the lineup. It's in the queue for me to address. I don't have it yet. It's not gonna be released with the launch, but
It's in the
as
top.
early as I can in 2024, I'm gonna start looking into that.
Okay.
But right now, it's not compatible with gear drive.
Okay. This guy here. Oh, see, Travis. You good.
Much better.
Travis BOT.
All right.
Okay.
That was a
Could I
For real people. Not making
could I buy a trick stick for my X-Weight Flex Pro?
Well, I don't know what the Flex Pro is, but if it does have a standard base plate, it
Yeah.
will fit on.
It
I
does.
believe it
Yeah,
does.
it does.
I believe that that trick stick should fit on that.
Let's clarify. Let's follow up with some clarification. So the trick stick just assembles to the board, which is important because this will address all the other questions out there. So it fits on that base plate with that 4-screw pattern, that dimensional pattern that fits almost every longboard out there, and even little tiny boards. The one thing it won't fit are mountain boards with the turned up nose and tail. It won't fit that yet.
Mhm.
So you can almost guarantee it's going to fit any freaking base plate on a TKP, RKP, whatever.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's probably workable.
The answer is yes.
Good to go.
Sure.
Most likely, yes.
Yeah. Okay.
We're halfway to go.
We got a question.
I've got questions. I got answers, Carlos.
We got a question from Hamza.
Hamza, what?
No,
We don't know that guy.
He did not ask a question. He knows everything.
He asked, "Why are you so smart?"
He did not.
He did.
He fucking did not.
I think it's a legit question.
It's a legit question. Yeah.
Do you know your
What?
IQ?
That is a silly.
What is that? Have you ever taken an IQ?
Your
No,
IQ.
I'm not going to do that. You know why I'm not going to do that? Because it's going to be dumb.
We'll post results after the video.
Right. I got you guys. I got you guys.
Being graphic, guys.
Right.
Okay, I have to follow that.
It's gonna spike, baby.
Yeah, right.
Let me give some substance to that question.
Okay.
I'm not going to answer directly because that's crazy to me.
Right.
However,
Oh well.
I would say
everybody
this.
that know
I would say
Hamza.
I'm guessing he's asking that question because this seems pretty cool to people, and I think it's cool too. But this is a passion project. This is what I wanted on a board, right?
Right.
I am mechanically inclined. I did learn how to do all this myself, but really, I think mostly it's motivation, and
Right.
it's just a passion, right? That's just what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
So I think
Mhm.
that's my answer to deflect from
Yeah.
the
From
intelligence quotient
Yeah.
question.
you are. I'll tell you this. Like
No.
you are very humble.
Very
like
humble.
very humble.
He's much
Like-
smarter than he leads on.
If like
No.
I haven't seen.
Next question.
I haven't seen. Let me finish. Let me finish. I haven't seen an upgrade to an Esk8, in the Esk8 community, like that it's such a big jump, so ahead. So
Granted,
it's like a big leap.
I'll give you, it's an
you know.
innovation that no one has. And I think part of that is because I was brand new, right? I had this objective outsider perspective.
Right.
It was brand new. I was really inspired. I'm like, why doesn't it exist? It should.
It's been
It seemed like a no-brainer to just take the hanger off of it and make a suspension.
it's been several years, bro. Like, and
I've got more ideas cooking up in the lab.
So
we'll see.
you really killed it on this one.
Really did.
Okay.
Thanks. No, I appreciate that.
I got Joel apps. It's getting better.
Is my microphone working, dude?
Wait.
I don't know. Is it working?
Yes,
I think
it's
you're
working.
good.
Yeah, you good. You're just nervous. I make
No,
people
I'm not
nervous.
nervous. I
That's
just noticed it was on.
I think
and
it was
noticed
just a name
you
calling.
don't have
Right?
one, but you got Jen's got one.
so. Joe apps
Apps.
ask, when is everything
Joe ask.
going to be in stock, and is it going to be all in stock at the same time?
Okay, great question.
All right, we got Joe.
Right, a question
My
with
man.
substance about release for consumers. So, revisiting our launch date, October. It's also going to be a pre-sale situation. So people are probably familiar with Kickstarter. It's going to kind of be like that, although it's not officially going to be on a Kickstarter platform. It's going to be on our website, which is a Shopify website, but we have different things that are going to be baked into the technology so we can offer a pre-sale for folks.
Mhm.
When we meet our target threshold for quantities on the pre-sale, then the orders will be generated and people will get them. So they will have to wait when they get a pre-sale for either component or both. I'm targeting about 60 days, probably no sooner. So they're going to be holiday kind of thing.
Okay, so it's gonna be a holiday, a Christmas baby.
Yeah, I don't want to promise sooner than that, so I'm being conservative with my
Right.
projection for fulfilling the orders. We also are going to have some incentive for people to do pre-orders. So
Okay.
I know that's a big thing with Kickstarter and it makes total sense. Like if you order now, you order early, you will get something free. We haven't determined what that is yet, but it will be on the website, which we are slowly but surely getting complete. Just a couple of days ago, we added more content. I got a few more things on there for charts and graphs and configurations that have to do with the preload, blah, blah, blah. So
Right.
yes, we're also going to have a banner. We're going to have dates. We'll have the incentive and everything will be sort of
Nice.
clarified
Yeah.
for the pre-sale.
Nice.
coming up very soon.
So yeah, so everything is coming in at the same time.
It will be, the orders will be fulfilled pretty close to one another, but when you order it, they're
Right.
not going to go out the door right away.
No,
So
yeah.
I want to be clear.
But you're gonna
pre-sale.
be able to buy them at the same time,
You'll be able to purchase
And then-
them, and then you'll have to wait for the fulfillment.
right? Okay.
Being
Okay,
conservative.
that sounds good.
Yes,
Okay.
exactly. That's the also. The caveat, the reason that we're doing that and Jimmy's disappearing is because, Carlos, I don't want investors.
Right.
I want to stay product focused and I want to put customers first. And if we let someone else sort of drive the bus financially,
Speaking like Mike Tyson, right?
they drive the bust.
But-
Yeah, love driving busts.
and to tell you something.
Raymond knows what I'm talking about. Yes, then it's like we have an obligation to investors first if we go that route.
Right.
I don't want to. I freaking do not want to do that. That would allow us to get product into consumer hands very quickly.
Right.
When they do the order initially, it allow us to have inventory right away. But if we do that again, it's a relationship that we're going to have to stick with.
Right.
And we just don't want to do it. So as a
Yeah.
follow up to that comment too, it's just me and my wife.
Okay.
Which is
It's just
a
us.
transition.
I mean,
Your
it
wife
really
is amazing, by the way.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She
Yeah,
is absolutely-
She's a badass.
Yeah.
I tell you.
if you guys want to talk intelligent quotient, like if you want, she's the smart person, right? I mean, yes, I did invent it. This is my brainchild, but really, she's way smarter than me. Just saying. You guys want to talk to a smart person?
My wife is smarter than me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
you just saying that because you're in camera and you fear for
I'm
your
not-
life. You fear for your
She's
life.
smarter than me.
It's like the fear in his eyes. My wife is smarter than me.
You're reading from a script.
You hear that, babe?
My wife is smart. She is very smart, and I am not as smart. Jimmy.
Oh my God! You're safe. This is a safe place for you. I just
Am I
wanted
red
to.
or am I red?
Yes, you're red.
I think your
Okay.
wife's awesome, by the way.
Oh my
Melissa,
God.
right?
Yeah.
Melissa, yes.
Okay, next
My wife
question.
Totally digs Melissa, by the way. She's inspired. She wants
Nice.
to be able to ride on Melissa.
Oh my God, dude, she has been scaring me.
She's a shredder, dude.
We went on a ride last Saturday and she was going faster than I was. I was like, wait a minute, hold on, slow down.
Oh, wait,
Let me
hey.
catch up here.
It's
Let
like-
me catch up here.
Chill out. I'm the faster one here. Okay. Hey, we got a question from Esk8, New York.
Ooh.
Okay,
What?
and it's not a great question.
Oh.
He's asking if it actually shocks.
If it shocks.
Yeah.
Oh, like it's electrified.
Yeah.
No.
Can we make it?
Terrible question, by the way. We gotta work.
Here,
We
this
gotta
is
work on this.
It's smart, Carlos.
Esk8 group.
It is conductive material.
I'm gonna talk to Corey. I'm gonna talk to Fred.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a conversation, okay?
What's going on with you guys?
Why that question?
I don't
It's
understand.
conductive.
Hey, we didn't
It's
ask him
aluminum.
to be
Yeah.
specific. We just say, what do you want to ask him?
Yeah, I guess he was trying to be funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. I got it.
SoCal, and
I got the reference.
we'll figure it out.
Yeah. So we got here a guy, a Tampa rider. Okay.
Trent.
Okay. Tampa Bay rider.
Oh, Tampa Bay.
Yeah, we got somebody from Florida. He's asking when the trick stick's gonna be available. I think we answered that already.
Yeah, we answered
you
that
know,
the
it's
last
gonna,
time,
That
yeah.
was
Around the same time.
Exactly.
Yeah, and
Yes.
then we got same guy asking if it's gonna be a discount code for like the guys in Esk8 Con.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
The guys in Esk8 Con, so I mean attendees of Esk8 Con, like Mike Beard's Esk8 Con. I'm confused by the substance of the question. Discount codes. I mean, in the future we'll offer that. We
Mhm.
are going to offer an incentive for pre-sale. I can't do discount codes right now because
It's
we
pretty
have
sure.
no revenue.
Well, pre-sale is
Yeah, it's
discount.
pre-sale.
Pre-sale is still discount.
Pre-sale.
So
Yeah.
order and pre-sale, that's how you get your discount
Yeah.
for the foreseeable
Right, the
future.
pre-sale will have an incentive, which essentially will
Yeah.
be a discounted thing.
Yeah. At the same time,
I'm just not
understand.
saying it because I
Yeah.
haven't figured out exactly. There are a couple of ideas that we have, so I'm not sure what it's
Yeah.
going to be, but yes.
But at the same time, like as consumers, you know, like we gotta understand that this is a new company coming out.
Oh,
you know, this is a great product. You know, we have to support, you know.
We sold
This is
our
a big
house. So
leap,
here's the
you
thing.
know,
This is how-
into like the evolution of
this
the
is how
skate
real it got,
community.
Carlos. We sold our house to help finance this. We're renting right now.
So that's how committed he is.
I mean,
I'm pretty sure
we're
we
all
should be as committed as him, you know, to
So,
like,
I'm
you know,
trying. I'm trying. I think we're doing pretty good right now.
no, yeah, you're killing
I mean,
it,
it's
bro.
been a team of one mostly, except my wife is
This-
responsible for the whole website, for other stuff behind the scenes.
Mhm.
She's the CFO. She's a lot of awesomeness that no one really gets to see, except for the website. It's looking pretty good. That's all.
Right.
I mean,
No,
you got
but
the
it's like
data and
for
everything, but
a
she's-
team of
she's
two, you got the one who designed it and did all the technical, and then your wife has been doing all the admin
she's,
portion.
a lot of the business stuff,
Yeah.
website stuff, and eventually, hopefully, because we're both old and stupid when it comes to Instagram. So again, hats off to you guys. I don't know if I can say that on your show. Of course I can. It's your show. Right?
Here, over here, we
Yeah.
do whatever the fuck we want.
It's awesome. Carlos and Jimmy are fucking awesome dudes. You guys are great.
We're doing
fun
what we
running,
can
but
for the
you're
community.
just awesome.
You guys
we
heard it
couldn't-
here first.
Right.
Right.
Awesome too.
Amazing. Amazing.
You know it.
Mama made it.
Right.
Mama.
I'm on TV!
Shout out to JJ.
Right.
Here,
I mean, this is gonna get.
I just want to thank all my friends and all my friends. We got Preacher David over here.
Appreciate David. Oh man. Somebody put him out. He's on fire. Oh man.
To turn these lights down a little bit.
You're
Just no. Anyway.
You're good. Okay,
So, yes.
we got one last question. Okay,
That's cool. Is it a good question?
I'm not gonna even try to pronounce this. This guy was having a seizure when he shows his tag
I think you have to try.
name.
You have to try. You made an attempt on everyone. Let's hear it.
Yeah, just give it your best shot, dude.
Pranava.
Let's go. With Okay.
Oh, I've heard of it.
That sounded French, actually.
That was pretty good.
That's how fancy I am.
Fancy crackers. Okay.
Uh,
Wait, what's up? What's
question,
up, fancy crackers?
right?
I don't know.
It's like I should.
I feel like
Where's
you're
the-
just making this up.
I swear I had a beer. So okay. So the question is, break dive and squat can be minimized.
Is this in English? Why is there-
So I think what he's talking about is the suspension problem,
yeah.
possibly.
Yeah, I guess
Can it be minimized?
break dive and squat can be minimized.
I'm not sure if I follow, but
I'm not sure if I follow.
Let me speculate on what his
You wanna?
question is.
maybe-
It's okay.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I
I mean,
can-
I'm sure you're reading it correctly.
I don't know.
I just
like
think
my English not very good
Did you hear the
looking.
name?
You know, like, just saying. You know?
Anyway, let me speculate about what I think the question is asking.
Right.
I think there's two possibilities, right? I think, like you said, Jimmy, maybe he's asking if there's some kind of limitation or lockable function for the travel. There isn't. It's not lockable. In other words, like mountain bikes, sometimes you can lock a fork or you can lock that. It doesn't lock into position.
Right.
I thought about doing that iteration, but really, honestly, I just abandoned that whole thing because it overcomplicated the system, and there's a lot of other reasons why I thought it wouldn't really be a benefit to have it be a lockable thing. The other thing is I think you might be addressing sort of its behavior when it gets a little pitched and you're riding it.
Right.
James from M-Boards did a really cool video with the systems, and he was talking about that. And everyone that's riding them now knows that that's the case. For me, it's not a detractor. It's just something you have to get used to.
Right.
Any system that is sprung and really has suspension, when you're accelerating hard or you're braking hard, you're going to have sort of this pitch, right? You're
Right.
going to have some diving and you're going to have some lifting. So maybe that's what he's asking. It's not crazy. It's not something that you can't learn to mitigate. It's not something that's going to necessarily just be a deal breaker, especially if you're trail riding. Honestly, when you're on a trail, I don't know if you guys, what you think personally about that, but I don't notice that as an ill behavior at all. I notice it more when I'm street riding, but again,
I was gonna say on the street, I'll notice
You
it
just get used
way
to it.
more. But on the dirt, it was just it felt like he said, it's
Yeah.
like it feels comfortable once you get.
Yeah. I mean, because you're hitting so much crazy terrain anyway that it's really not a detractor. It's not an ill behavior. It's just,
Not at all. Not at
it's
all.
more than manageable, and I don't think it is anything. When, maybe that's
if
what
you
he's asking.
if you ask me, like, I haven't even felt it.
No, I don't even
Because like
notice.
that's the thing. Like I don't think I know the actual answer. You know, like the reason for the question. I'm sure that there is. But I gotten so used to the system now that for me it works naturally.
That's it. I
you
would
know?
say that you develop a skill set for this.
Right.
That's the other thing. Like it's totally different. Here's the thing. We're introducing a third dimension, the vertical dimension into a skateboard that really did not exist before. Not really. Not like this, unless we're talking about
Yeah, no, that's a great way to put it. Yeah.
But that's what it is. So it's floaty, it's powdery. People use those as descriptive terms, catchphrases that are sort of carryovers from snowboarding. Makes perfect sense.
Right.
But that's the thing. The reason it's powdery and floaty is because when you're snowboarding and you're a powder, it's different than a groomed slope where you're just doing edge turns and heel and toe turns. You're having to lean back and mitigate actual float with your board because you're going through this three-dimensional space in powder, which is a foot or deeper, depends on the kind of powder you're in. So with this system, right, you now have 40 millimeters of travel. So you do have some pitching, but you have this floatiness. When you lean for a turn, you don't suffer a whole lot when you're actually at moderate speed or you're at good speed. Like you're going to get tight turn radius and things like that, but it's different. You got to get used to it, right? Yeah. It's different also with a carbon deck or a really flexy deck. Like
I have a carbon, and of course
you have the. I feel like
bamboo.
It's
you know, it's just you can feel it more on the carbon and on the bamboo with the flex. It feels, I think, better with a bamboo deck compared to a carbon.
I'm liking the flexi deck a little bit better with this.
I
system.
agree.
I've learned how to actually have those things very complementary when I'm riding, especially when I got the control point with the trick stick, and I've got the suspension, and I've got a deck with some flex in it. Holy crap! It's so playful. You can you can compress, you can launch it, you can jump, you can do so many. When you're in a turn, you can just compress the deck in the system, and you can spring out of a turn.
I just learned that trick. You know, I feel like we had a very touching bonding moment.
Oh, when we were doing San Diego.
When we jumped at the same, we were in the air at the same time. You know, like,
the one we just did there.
Right, yeah.
The convention center.
Am I missing something here?
Dude,
yeah.
I'm talking about skateboarding, right?
Yeah.
Wait, that's the after hours. That's the after hours podcast that we're doing later. Where we're probably not going to be wearing shirts.
This is the PG one.
We get a lot less light on that one.
It's like for viewers after 1 a.m. We're not wearing shirts.
It was like, was it HBO?
Sexy.
Like back in the days? Yeah.
After
oh my
hours,
God.
At the after hour show.
Is this thing on?
No.
Come on.
But yeah, but it's like that trick. I learned it like before jumping. You kind of like compress the board down, like kind of like push it down, and then when it comes up, you know, you have that bounce back,
just
you know.
Like and mountain biking, and
Yeah.
you're doing all kinds of stuff down there. You're preloading it and you're jumping.
I'm excited. I feel like
I think there's limitations.
this is the X Games.
You know, Reggie from ARG team and ST, he was out on the track at the Evolve
I
event.
have to say,
racing it.
I do not think people should be doing.
I don't think so either.
It's not what it's really.
was doing very well with it, and honestly, he was.
I mean, I think it's
showing a new light to
skill.
what you can do.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's just crazy skill. But honestly, this is not a huge part of it.
Well,
I'm gonna
but
say
that's the
as
thing.
The owner inventor. If you want to go fast on the street, I'm just going to say this. It's not a Formula One thing, right? If I'm going to liken it to some other kind of vehicle, like in a car platform, I'd say this is like a trophy truck, if people know what that is, or rally car racing, right? It's like That's what this is. So there's maybe a racing component, but it's really on the dirt. On the street, Formula One. I mean, it's just that vertical is just a little bit too untamed. I mean, Reggie is tearing it up, but it's because he's really good.
But that's the thing. Like, I feel like the system has surprised us as how it behaves. You know, it's like we're still discovering things. You know, it's I don't know. For me, sometimes I feel it very close to a snowboard. You know, and it's like, cause like even if you don't think you're gonna make it through, you still make it.
It is amazing. I
you know,
say, that's not a boastful statement. Like some of the crap that we've been hitting rock gardens and stuff. Like I look ahead. Like when we were first riding a trail, I would look ahead going, man, I'm gonna get shut down. Like it's just not, and it rolls it.
Yeah.
Now, of course, you're rolling it. It's not like you don't feel anything, but honestly, it's so surprising and shocking, no pun intended, that we're hitting this stuff and controlling the board, and it's not. There's no ill behavior. Like you're actually riding this stuff.
Yeah.
And you're doing it well.
And
it's fun as hell.
It's fun. And it's a workout too. Oh my God, it's a workout, bro. Like I was sweating. Like every time we stopped, I was like, you see what I was amazing. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't catch my breath.
Every single ride.
Yeah, I was on my boat. Like boat. I wasn't running. No, I was there. But it's like
no, you're hopping on one shoe.
It's not
yeah, it's like
one shoe.
Yeah. Oh my God, you remember that one? That was insane.
I mean,
bro.
even though the board is handling the terrain, you're still engaged so much more with your core.
Yeah.
Because, you know, obviously we have all the minutia of the terrain and the rocks, but we're also on single track. We're going up and downhill, so we're pitching on berms. So you're constantly engaged with your core to balance yourself on the board. And again, that's not because the system isn't handling the crazy terrain you're on. It's just the fact that now you're really off-road trail riding. It's like mountain biking.
Yeah. And it's like
way different than riding a bike on the street, man.
And like I said, I want to make that clear. Like, if you try this suspension systems in Esk8 on an even ground, like, okay, you understood that that's a suspension system, but you did not try the system.
We're going to try to do a ride. So I've been talking to James. We've been talking.
We've been actually even today. We've been talking.
And I think I'm going to be talking to Mike and try to set up a ride, not during Saturday and Sunday. Maybe we can do a ride that's a SHOC Board Systems ride, and hopefully by then I'll have some more boards.
For Esk8, right?
For Esk8 2024.
For Esk8 2024. So sometime right about then, I would like to do it before Esk8, so maybe the week up to it, maybe on Thursday, Friday. I don't want to take away from any of the group rides that are going to plan for the group in general. But
I think Thursday's usually Red Rock as well. So
yeah, Thursday's Red Rock. Yeah. So whatever day, and I'm going to be going there early, hopefully, to do some more research for trails with James, because it would be great to example a trail that's really set up for these systems, like something that's not maybe super hardcore, but something that's way more than moderate, so people can really see.
I think that's like you're saying. The key to testing this is getting on the dirt.
Yeah, getting on the dirt. Yeah, and it's gonna be intimidating at first, because like trust me, it's gonna be intimidating. But
you want to stop.
Yeah.
You see it up ahead, and you're like, okay, I got to slow down because I'm not gonna be able to ride.
Right.
I'm probably gonna fall off, or the board's just gonna be so ill behaved it'll just spin out, or it's just gonna get stuck on a rock. And it doesn't.
It doesn't.
I mean, you just have to have confidence and go, I'm going to hit this at 10 miles an hour, maybe 15, maybe a little bit less than 10, but like that's really where you start getting the benefit.
Yeah, because you have to have some speed as well.
Because part of the problem is the wheel size, right? All these wheels, even again, the 200 millimeter 175, they're just not meant to roll over something that's like this. So you have to have some inertia. But when you do, and you have the compliant suspension, you can actually roll that stuff.
Right.
Pretty consistent.
It is.
Once you have inertia. You wouldn't be able to do that if you didn't have the suspension system, not like we're doing.
I threw back at Raymond a rock this big. Like he was riding behind me, and I purposely hit it, and then he shot back to him. It was like, bro, you're like, shot a big rock at me. It's crazy, bro. Like, so the system is just.
Doug showed us are really cool.
it's something that you have to definitely try. And I would try it most of the time with like somebody that has tried it before, so you can take it to the next level.
It's good to see someone do it.
Push your limits, really.
Yeah, you gotta push the limit to understand it.
Totally.
Yeah.
It's great. It was
Yeah.
great to have it.
No, definitely. So again, when are the release dates more than likely gonna be?
October pre-sale.
October?
So pre-sale kind of situation, pre-order, pre-sale.
Pre-sale and then fulfillment after enough orders are
Fulfillment after we reach our threshold, which hopefully won't take too long. But I will be very transparent too during that process. We're going to have obviously all the contact info for people
We'll
that are
be
making
posting in me
orders.
and Carlos's channel. We'll have the release dates
Yeah,
and
you
you
guys
guys
are
the
gonna
information.
be helping me out with that. But yeah, when I get that, people are committing to a pre-sale, pre-order.
Just say he's trying to kill the fly that's been going around for like an hour.
Okay. And the other thing is too, once we start to get our stuff in to fulfill, I'm going to be very transparent too. We'll post stuff on Instagram. You guys will help me out. We'll have stuff on the website.
I think that's key is transparency.
We got stuff. I'm
placing
starting to
an
make
order
the
is really key.
assemblies. We'll show boxing. We'll start to show stuff going out to customers.
Definitely.
I'm pumped. I
Oh,
cannot.
you should
We're
be.
all pumped.
We're all pumped for you, bro. Like,
Number one question: when is this coming out?
right? Yeah,
It's
no.
coming out.
I know that on our side we're gonna be like trying to establish some rides, some trail rides over here in San Diego.
Yeah,
That's
So like everybody that wanna, come in nearby area and just ride with us, and we're gonna be letting you try the systems out and all that stuff, so you can have a better idea of what it does and what you can achieve with it. Yeah. So it's we're definitely gonna put it out there as much as we can.
Yeah, demos are good.
Yeah.
Scratching stuff too. Like, what's it all about? See
Yeah.
in person.
Definitely.
It's key. I get it, right? It's one thing if people see videos. Well, there's a video coming. Raymond. That's going to be pretty awesome. I think you guys, when you do see our website, and it will be tied with our pre-sale, pre-launch. I can't give a date, but we're going to have, let's just call it a proprietary video exempling a lot of the rides that we've been doing, and you'll be able to see, even if you can't ride a board, get the demo, touch it in person before the pre-sale launch. That video should give you a pretty good indication of the performance value. Right, I can't wait for that video to get put together, and so people can really see what this thing has been doing.
It's gonna be
And
badass.
it's so much more. I mean, it's still.
My man Ray in the house. Oh well, he's not here.
I mean,
He's
there's
a
only
ghost.
been probably a little bit of footage that we put out on Instagram compared to what we've been doing.
Yeah.
Fuzzy
Yeah.
Nubby on my
Yeah.
if Raymond had put it.
We're gonna reposition that better next time.
Yeah. Closest to.
Wait, just gonna put it like on that side. Let's keep going.
He's just gonna give you a microphone, I think, next time.
Right.
Just take it next to you. You don't have to worry.
No, but hey, I want to thank you for coming in.
Oh, yeah.
I know you're on a roll, like to where you're heading out there to
Yeah.
home tomorrow.
You going back to Colorado? Yeah.
Yeah.
So follow up again. I'm trying to make this home. We do have something here, and hopefully next spring we'll be moving here permanently. So I'm gonna miss you guys.
Yeah.
Oh,
We're gonna miss you too, bro.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be back here in the spring. Hopefully, not too late in the spring. Definitely before Esk8 Con, but
If
as
anything,
early as I can
be
make
out
it.
at Esk8 Con anyway. So
Yeah,
Definitely.
I'll see you at least a month or so before that.
Definitely. It's gonna be fun. So you guys are gonna be seeing a lot of David coming in.
Yeah.
Look out for shock boards, of course.
And yeah.
Trick stick.
You might have a
Trick stick, yeah, trademark by the way. Trick stick and SHOCBOX.
Mhm.
Trademark patent
Yeah.
pending. I just had to
Yeah.
say that out there. I
Yeah.
know we didn't touch upon
It's
some of
his
the
and only
details.
his. Don't fucking
Right.
steal it.
Steal it, man.
But yeah, like within like
It's real
2
too.
weeks,
Some people
3
are like,
weeks,
oh,
we
man,
might have
it's
we might have that
real
pre-sale.
pending.
Yeah. And then
Well, yeah, it's patent pending. The conversion is happening 1st on
Mhm.
the suspension system, which means it's going to be a real patent.
Right.
I don't know if that's what you're talking about.
Right.
But, that's a process too. So as soon as I
Yeah.
do, you'll see a patent number on that product. But it's
Yeah.
the real deal. It's
Yeah.
not. It's not.
I just want to say on my behalf, it's like, hey, like if you're interested and you're kind of like on the line, go for it. You won't be disappointed. That's my personal review and opinion of it. Like it's gonna rock your world. Okay. But thank you for coming in.
Dude, thanks.
I really appreciate you, having the time to,
You're
drop
awesome.
by. And then, hey,
I know, you keep inviting
Again.
me back, even though I keep breaking stuff.
oh my God,
Don't
I'm
worry.
putting a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Don't move. I think that will be all for today.
Absolutely.
And yeah, we'll see you here for the next one.
That's easy.